So, ayan, recap pala muna po tayo ng konti doon sa ating week 3 lesson. So, any one of you nakaka-recall po ng ating lesson last week? Kahit concise lang or ano ba yung highlight ng ating lesson last week po? Anyone? Ayan, so may nag-raise ng hand. Diba? Pa-join yung isang account ko. Ayan, si Geraldine. Geraldine? Ako lang ba? Mahina ang internet ko. Ano po? Paulit, sorry. Food sanitation. So, ayan, fundamentals of food sanitation, yung ating na-discuss po last week. So, we discussed, ayan, importance ng food sanitation, food hygiene practices, and then difference ng food sanitation and food hygiene, foodborne illnesses and contaminants na discuss din po natin last week. And, ayan nga, some of the ano pa, recall natin, cleaning agents yan, sanitation regulation, standard, mga cleaning agents. Na-discuss din po natin, ayun nga, yung mga different government agencies responsible for regulating nung safety and standard sanitation sa food establishment. So, again, itong week 4 po ay continuation ng ating week 3. So, about laws and agencies relating to food safety and sanitation. Lang. Ayan, apologies pala sa background ha, kasi si Reds ay nag-online class dito today. Ayan, naka-work from home kasi kami, so medyo naririnig sa background. So, for this week, so we will discuss about laws and agencies relating to food safety and sanitation. So, in this session, di-discuss natin yung mga food safety laws sa Philippines, mga international framework na ina-adapt or pinapractice, ginagamit din dito sa ating country sa mga food establishment. So, yan, what are the responsibilities nitong mga government agencies, ayan, in regulating nga ng and ensuring yung safe food handling across all food establishment and supply chain. So, syempre, essential po for hospitality students, ayan, as future hospitality professionals na maging knowledgeable po tayo dito sa mga laws and agencies, ayan, mga regulations. Syempre, yung food safety, sabi nga natin, it directly impact yung guest satisfaction and syempre yung reputation ng company or ating establishment. And ayun, syempre, safety ng mga consumer natin and customer. So, learning objectives at the end of this module, we are expected to, number 1, identify the major Philippine food safety laws and their scope in regulating food establishment. So, yan, we will identify yung mga major food safety laws dito sa ating bansa. So, for example, yung mga Food Safety Act of 2013, yung mga Presidential Decree 856, ayan, mga sanitation code, FDA regulations, etc. So, discuss po natin for today. Ayan, and then, yung kanilang mga nasasakupan or saklaw ng mga batas po na iyon sa food safety. So, 2 is explain the purpose of food safety regulations in protecting public health and ensuring safe food handling across the supply chain. So, ayan, we will understand why these laws exist. So, ano ba yung mga purpose ng mga different laws and framework na ito. So, analyze the roles of regulatory agencies in enforcing food safety and sanitation standards. So, yan, we will also discuss yan, how different government agencies enforce ng standard nga sa food establishment. So, for the introduction, so, purpose of Philippine Food Safety Law. So, syempre, number 1 purpose is to protect the public health. So, allow me to read. Yan. Food safety laws aims to reduce cases of foodborne illnesses such as diarrhea, salmonellosis, and food poisoning. So, yun, number one purpose nga nitong mga food safety laws and framework is to protect yung public health, public consumer, ayan, to prevent itong mga foodborne illnesses na mga sakit. So, like diarrhea, salmonella, food poisoning, ayan. So, common issues in a tropical country where heat accelerates by bacterial growth. So, ayan, may question lang ako dito sa second line. Ayan, so bakit sinabi na common issues daw ito? Sa mga tropical country, ayan, for example sa atin sa Pilipinas, na merong warm temperature, ayan, yung tropical climate dito na may risk lagi na ah, may risk doon sa bacterial growth sa food. So bakit kaya sa mga warm weather countries or tropical country, mas mataas ang chance or risk na mabilis yung bacterial growth sa food? Any idea po? Ayan, si Mark. Ayan, thank you, Mark. So, tama naman. So, kaya mas mataas yung risk or chance ng bacterial growth nga doon sa mga warm countries, ayan, tropical countries, kasi nga, syempre, ano ba ang paborito place para mag-grow ng bacteria? Syempre, yung mainit, yung may moist, ayan. So, mas malaki yung chance or mas mabilis yung growth ng bacteria. So, kaya nga, kailangan mas mahigpit or yan, properly implemented yung mga standard, yan, mga framework when it comes nga sa food safety. Unlike doon sa mga country na malamig, so syempre mas matagal na pipreserve yung food nila and ayun nga, less chance na bacterial growth. So, yan, lalo na sa atin, tropical country, so dapat talaga, ayan, nagko-comply yung mga food establishment nga doon sa mga policy standard. So, by enforcing strict hygiene and sanitation standards, the laws help prevent outbreaks in homes, schools, hotels, and food service establishment. So, ayan, by regulating cleanliness, yan nga, sa mga food facilities, ayan, hindi lang sa bahay, sa school, yan, mga hotel, restaurant, or any food service establishment. So, naiiwasan yung outbreak or, ayun nga, nami-maintain yung safety ng mga food for the consumption ng public consumer or ng ating mga customer. So it ensures safe food handling across supply chain, regulate food from production, processing, distribution, retail, and food service, covering farms, markets, factories, and restaurants. So, ayan, safe food handling across doon sa different supply chain. So, or doon sa at every stage ng food process, ayan, mula sa farm, sa mga factory, ayan, hanggang restaurant or sa hotel, ayan, up to dining table doon sa customer. So, ma-ensure dapat na properly handled yung food, ayan, nag-comply, ayan, sumunod sa standard, ayan, to ensure nga yung safety ng mga consumers natin. So next, why regulation across all stages is essential? So una, hazards can occur at any point. So laws ensure continuous monitoring. So ayan nga ang iniiwasan. So sa lahat ng process ng any stage nung process ng food, so meron laging hazard. So kaya kailangan may continuous monitoring. Ayan, sa mga establishments, yan, sabi nga natin last meeting, ayan, number one, responsibility ng head, ng manager, is to oversee yung employee, yung food handler, kung nagko-comply, sumusunod dun sa standard. So, ganun din, syempre, yung mga government agencies na to and laws, ayan, ini-ensure na yung mga establishment nagko-comply, ayan, sumusunod dun sa safety standard to avoid nga yung hazard at any stage doon sa food production. So, food safety is cumulative. A failure at one stage affects all others. So, syempre doon sa every step ng food production, ayan, food preparation. So, isa lang dun sa stage or step ang magkaroon ng hazard or risk. So, syempre, ayan, failure na yon doon sa food industry. And, dagdag lang natin. So, for example, so even one incident lang ng food poisoning sa isang restaurant, for example, isang kilalang restaurant. So, magkaroon lang sila ng isang incident ng food poisoning or nagkaroon ng foodborne illness na case doon sa kanilang customer, syempre, it will affect yung entire na reputation ng company or ng establishment. So, yun, importante nga, syempre, na aside dun sa reputation, so, syempre, yung safety nga ng mga consumer or customer natin. So, ma-ensure natin. So, tourism and hospitality rely heavily on safe food, making compliance essential for guest satisfaction and destination reputation. So, aside nga doon sa safety, so, ayun nga, mapoprovide natin yung satisfaction ng customer natin, ayan, knowing na safe yung food, ayan, walang any cause sa kanila na hazard or risk, ayan, and maprotektahan din yung reputation ng ating company. So, laws relating to health and safety. So, alam ko na-discuss din po ito last week. So, nadaanan din natin si OSHA. Ayan, Occupational Safety and Health Act. So, this is the principal act concerned with protecting the health and safety of employees and members of the public. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration was formed in 1971 to ensure employee safety and health and create a better working environment. OSHA utilizes a variety of proven intervention strategies like standard enforcement, guidance, training, and cooperation programs in order to ensure a safe workplace. So, yan. So, sa under ng OSHA, so, it protects hindi lang yung consumer, so, maging yung mga employee, ayan, so worker, so ayan, through proper training, ayan, provided ng training, safety training sa employee, ayan, safety standard doon sa production ng food, so ayan, so it established noong 1971 si OSHA, so may konting trivia lang po dito, so nung na-establish ito noong 1971, due to doon sa tumataas na case ng employee accident sa US during that time. So kaya during that time, yung administration nila, yan yung president nila noong 1971. So sinign itong act na ito, si OSHA, ayan, as improved standard para do sa safety ng employee and syempre ng mga consumer. So it is an international standard na ina-apply din syempre sa ating bansa. So aside doon sa ating mga framework and laws. So, ayan, through OSHA, so, ina-ensure na, ayan nga, may proper training, ayan, proper guidance yung mga employee, ayan, for the safe na workplace para doon sa ating mga employee. So, ang goal nito is to reduce nga yung workplace hazard and create a safe working environment para sa employee. So, para makapag-work sila ng safe and productive, syempre. So next, another international standard. So si ISO 22000. So derive ito doon sa former na ISO 9000. So sa 22000, ito yung mas improved na standard. So international standard po ito. So it was developed by International Organization for Standardization. So kaya nga ISO. So ISO 22000 is a standard developed by International Organization for Standardization dealing with food safety. So this is a general derivative of ISO 9000. So these standards specify the requirements for food safety management systems that involves communication, system management, prerequisite programs, and HACCP principles. So, dito po sa ISO 22000, so, ina-apply din or yan nga, pinopromote yung HACCP principle. So, alam ko familiar naman na po tayo sa HACCP. So, kung hindi pa, so HACCP stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point. So, sabi natin last week, yan kung nare-recall, through HACCP principle, so, ang ginagawa ng mga establishment is, hindi pa nangyayari yung mga hazard na yon, mga potential hazard, ina-identify na po nila, so to provide ng preventive measure, ayan, risk mitigation. So, para maiwasan na mag-occur yung ganong mga hazard. So, identified na nila yung mga potential hazard, hindi pa man nangyayari, and prepared na with uh, preventive measure or yung mga risk mitigation policy nila. So, yan. Included din dito yan sa ISO 2200 si HACCP principles. And then, ayan. So, some of the major Philippine laws about, regarding food safety. So, una, Food Safety Act of 2013 or Republic Act 10611. So, it establishes food safety regulatory system, roles of agencies, and industry responsibilities. So, sorry itong sanitation sa number 2 yan. Hindi ko na-enter ata. Dapat karugtong yan number 2. So, yan. Food Safety Act of 2013. So, it establishes ng mga food safety regulatory system. And then, sakop din po nito, ano ba yung mga role ng mga government agencies, ayan, about food safety, food sanitation. And then, through dito sa Food Safety Act of 2013, so nagsiset din ng standard responsibility doon sa mga food establishment to ensure yung food safety mula production up to consumption ng consumer. So, kumbaga, every stage ng food production hanggang bago makarating kay consumer, so dapat na-ensure yung safety. Sumunod doon sa regulation, so under ng RA 10611. So, another, si Sanitation Code of the Philippines or Presidential Decree 856. So, it requires ng sanitary permit para doon sa mga food establishment, water supply. Ayan, dapat mag-secure sila ng sanitary permit, ayan, na kukunin doon sa kanilang local health office or sa LGU. Ayan, dapat mag-secure sila nito bago po mag-operate yung isang food establishment. So, aside doon sa mga BIR permit, etc. So, kasama si sanitary permit sa dapat na i-secure prior doon sa pag-open ng isang food establishment para kumbaga certified or yung business na ito is dumaan doon sa sanitation inspection ng kanilang LGU or local health office. So, yan. Additional permit. So, sanitary permit. So, under ng Presidential Decree 856. So, under din ito, ayan, titignan yung waste management, ayan, nung establishment, ayan, hygiene practice. So, dapat nakasunod doon sa standard nitong under ng Sanitation Code of the Philippines. So, number 3, Consumer Act of the Philippines under RA or Republic Act 7394. So, it ensures proper labeling, fair trade, and protection against hazardous food products. So, dito naman sa RA 7394, so it protects consumer doon nga sa mga hazardous food. It also sets standard for safe food supply, mga food additives, ayan, mga food ingredients, proper labeling ng food, so kasama din, and then fair trade, so yung proper pricing or yung tinatawag nating SRP, diba, doon sa mga products, so nasasaklaw din po dito sa RA 7394. So, yung mandatory safety standard doon sa mga products, so yan, nagsiset din or nag-implement under ng 7394. So, it requires ng certification. For example, doon sa mga manufacturing company, ayan, kailangan nilang mag-secure ng certification, ayan, para bago mag-distribute or bago makarating ng market yung kanilang mga manufactured product. So, it requires licensing and registration. Also, doon sa mga drugs or medical, mga medicine. So, yan. Aside sa food, so under nitong RA 7394, nasasaklaw din po yung mga medical product. So, kailangan register, yan, and license. So, under ng RA 7394. So, another one, we have Meat Inspection Code under ng RA 9296. So, it regulates slaughterhouses, meat processing, and inspection system. So, dito sa RA 9296, so, ayan, yung mga Meat facilities, ayan, slaughterhouse, meat processing, mga cold storage facilities ng meat. So, it requires ng mag-undergo ng accreditation under ng tinatawag natin na NMIS. Ayan, kung nare-recall last meeting, si National Meat Inspection Service. So, kailangan nilang mag-secure nitong tinatawag na NMIS certification, ayan, bago mag-operate itong mga katayan ng karne, ayan, mga meat processing, ayan, mga cold storage facilities ng meat. So, nire-require sila na mag-undergo ng accreditation and magkaroon ng certification from NMIS to operate legally itong mga slaughterhouse na to or meat processing company. So, ano ba ang number one na goal nito? So, to ensure na lahat ng meat na pinoproduce nila, ayan, either locally man yan or mga exported meat, dapat dumaan doon sa International Safety and Hygiene Standard. So, dadaan muna sila ng NMIS accreditation inspection, ayan, and certification. So, para ma-ensure natin yung safety ng mga food. So, ng mga meat product. So, nasasaklaw po ito doon sa mga import products, meat products. So, yung mga galing ng ibang country, ayan na meat products. So, upon entry yan sa country natin, so dadaan muna ng NMIS inspection, ayan, regulation. And also, yung mga export products natin, meat products, so bago lumabas ng bansa natin, so dadaan din ng NMIS. Siyempre, to ensure the quality and safety nitong mga meat product. So next, Food and Drug Administration Act or CFDA under ng RA 9711. So it strengthens FDA regulatory capacity over food, drugs, cosmetics, and devices. So hindi lang sa food, so mga medicine or drugs, medicine, ayan, mga medical devices, and even cosmetics. So nasasaklaw po dito sa FDA RA 9711. So, yan, ini-ensure yung safety dito nga sa food, drugs, cosmetic, and medical devices. So, it ensures yung safe, effectiveness, ayan, good quality nito bago makarating kay consumer or bago makalabas ng market, ayan, yung mga products na ito. So, dadaan siya sa FDA inspection. So, through this RA 9711, so it grants si FDA ng power to regulate, ayan, inspect yung mga establishment, ayan, distributing company, ayan, manufacturing, ayan nga, to ensure yung safety standard or quality ng kanilang mga product. So, hindi lang sa safety standard, even proper labeling, packaging requirements nitong mga product. So, pwedeng mag-regulate sa FDA ng standard. So, yan. Medyo lumalakas ang ulan dito. So, sana audible pa po ako. Audible pa po ba? Thumbs up po if, yan, thank you. Sige, konti, wait lang, may accept lang akong nag-join. Ay, nawala. Ayan, so, halal ingredients, compliance. So, ayan, discuss naman natin yan about halal certification standard. So, halal standards require 6 things of the Philippine producers. Yung tinatawag nilang halal ingredients, so permissible, so contamination-free processing, segregated storage and transport, halal compliant packaging and labeling, strict hygiene and sanitation, and full traceability with documented records, meeting all 6 consistently and being able to prove it with records is what a halal certification check. So, kumbaga summarize lang po ito ng ating 6 requirements under ng halal certification. Yan. Discuss po natin yan. Halal standards are guidelines and regulations that ensure products and services comply with Islamic law. So, tinatawag na Sharia. So, yan. Merong 6 requirements para karoon ng halal certification yung isang food establishment. So, kailangan yung isang food establishment, so, ma-meet or masunod itong 6 regulations, 6 requirements, so, bago ma-issuehan ng halal certification. So, medyo challenging po ito para sa isang food establishment. Yan, bago maka-acquire ng halal certification. Pero, syempre, it is an advantage para do sa company na may halal certification. So, syempre, mas wider yung market natin and then, syempre, pwede kang mag-export or mag-produce ng product doon sa mga Islamic country. Ayan nga, pagka meron tayong halal certification. So, tingnan natin yung 6 conditions or requirements. Ayan, to comply doon nga sa halal certification. So, una, permissible ingredients. All ingredients used must be halal. This means avoiding substances derived from haram or yung mga forbidden ingredients. So, ano ba yung mga ingredients na yun na bawal sa mga Muslim? So, pork, ayan, anything na ingredients na merong pork, alcohol, yan, alcoholic beverage, and certain animal derivatives not slaughtered according to Islamic rites. So, kailangan yun nga, medyo strict sila doon pagdating sa mga kinukonsume nila na food. So, anything nga na merong pork ingredients, so forbidden po yan sa under ng Islamic law. So, yun yung idea doon sa halal food. So, dapat yung mga ingredients, so only halal approved na mga raw ingredients. So, wala itong mga nabanggit ko na food dito, alcoholic, pork, ayan, so bawal. So, i-avoid yung mga ganong ingredients. So, sa processing naman and manufacturing, the entire manufacturing process must be free from contamination with haram substances. So, yung haram, so yun nga yung mga forbidden ingredients or food under ng Islamic law. So, yun yung pork, alcoholic beverage, and etc. So, kailangan wala yung mga ingredients na yun. And equipment use should be cleaned according to halal guidelines and cross-contamination must be strictly avoided. So, yan, pagdating sa mga equipment, utensils, dapat may separate na utensils para doon sa mga halal food. Ayan. So, may intended na equipment. Ayan. Even, alam nyo ba, even cleaning material. So, dapat halal certified. So, hindi tayo basta-basta pwedeng gumamit ng dishwashing or mga cleaning agents na hindi approved or hindi certified na under ng Islamic law or yun nga, halal certified. So, kaya medyo challenging talaga sa isang company, yun nga, to acquire nitong halal certification. So, but syempre, meron ding advantage. So, yun nga, mayroong separate equipment and utensils for halal food. Ayan, pag pin-repair. So, to avoid yung cross-contamination. And then, number 3, for the storage and transportation, halal products must be stored and transported in a way that prevents contamination. This includes using separate storage areas and dedicated transportation for halal goods. Halal goods. So, yan. After storage, so syempre dapat may hiwalay na storage. For example, yung cold storage ng mga halal food natin, hiwalay doon sa mga ibang food na merong content nung mga pork or mga prohibited nga na food ingredients or raw materials. So, up to transportation, dapat, ayan, may dedicated transportation doon sa mga halal products natin or halal goods. So, hindi natin pwedeng isabay sa transport delivery ng ating mga other products. So, dapat hiwalay po yung transportation nitong mga halal products natin. So, in order to comply nga doon sa halal certification. So, ayan, and to prevent, syempre, yung cross-contamination. So, for packaging and labeling, packaging material should be halal and labeling must clearly indicate that the product is halal certified. Label should also comply with local regulatory requirements. So, even yung packaging material, so kailangan halal certified. And then, proper labeling, so dapat doon sa packaging ng product, mas clearly show yung halal certification. Dapat may nakalagay or visible yung nakalagay na halal certified doon sa ating product. So, hindi lang naman sa food, kahit sa mga medicine, ayan, ang mga Muslim, so hinahanap nila yung label na halal certified. So, even sa medicine, kailangan dumaan doon sa halal compliance or halal certified yung kanilang mga medicine. So, ganun ka strict po ang law ng Islam pagdating doon sa halal compliance. So, 5, hygiene and sanitation. Strict hygiene and sanitation practices must be in place throughout the production process to ensure the product remains halal. So, yan, yung facilities, syempre, ayan, yung personnel, so must maintain ang high sanitation standard, ayan, para ma-preserve yung purity or yun nga, yung pagiging halal certified ng food. And then, syempre yung facilities must be cleaned regularly. Yan. Using halal approved cleaning agent. So sabi ko nga kanina, hindi tayo pwede ba din basta gumamit ng dishwashing, cleaning materials na hindi halal approved. So even cleaning agent, so kailangan halal approved. And then, syempre, yan, standard naman na to or common sense yun nga. Syempre, yung mga employees, food handler, must follow nga ng personal hygiene protocol, yan, proper attire, yan, and protective gear para nga ensure yung safety or maiwasan yung contamination ng mga halal food na pine-prepare. And then, 6, traceability and documentation. So, comprehensive documentation and traceability are essential. This includes keeping detailed records of ingredients, sources, production processes, and handling procedures. So, yun, dapat traceability or may record ng lahat ng process or stages nung pag-produce ng mga halal food natin. So, dapat meron si company detailed records, yan ng ingredients, suppliers, yan, process nung paggawa ng food, halal food na yon for the audit. Yan, syempre may audit yan nga to ensure yung compliance ng mga halal uh, products natin. So yan, for audit verification. So through halal certification, so it requires ng complete transparency ng food establishment pagdating nga doon sa pag-process ng kanilang mga halal food. So dapat may proper documentation and records yan for the auditor to verify yung compliance nila. Yan. So, yan po. May 6 requirements for halal ingredients compliance. So, next, we have Employees' Right to Know Act. So, employers must inform workers about all chemical, electrical, mechanical, and ergonomic hazards in the workplace. Workers must receive free safety and health education, including orientation. Employees can step away from an imminent danger situation without fear of punishment. So, yun, syempre, right ng employee na malaman kung ano man yung mga hazard or yung workplace condition doon sa kanyang company. So, dapat provided ni employer yung orientation, safety training, ayan, for employees. And, syempre sa employee, so may right siya na mag-refuse doon sa kanyang duty pagka meron ngang danger or yun nga, risk doon sa kanyang trabaho. So, without fear of punishment. So, karapatan yun bilang employee nga na mag-refuse doon sa hazardous situation doon sa kanyang trabaho. So, next, regulatory agency. So, yung mga government agencies po, responsible for implementing ng food safety. So, the Bureau of Food and Drugs is the key regulatory agency of the Department of Health, Philippines, with significant responsibilities in ensuring the safety, efficacy, and quality of food products, drugs, vaccines, biological, in vitro diagnostic reagents, medical devices, cosmetics, and household hazardous substances. So, ayan, under ng BFAD or yung Bureau of Food and Drug, so, government agency under ng DOH. So, hindi lang sa food product. So, even yung mga medicine, ayan, drugs, medical devices, cosmetic, and mga household hazardous substances. So, dadaan ng inspection or regulation ng BFAD. So, next, other national agencies na responsible for the food safety. So, si Department of Agriculture. So, under ng Department of Agriculture, we have Bureau of Animal Industry, si NMIS or si National Meat Inspection Service na na-discuss po natin kanina, and Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, Bureau of Plant Industry, Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority, Philippine Coconut Authority, Sugar Regulatory Administration, and National Food Authority or NFA. So, lahat po ito is under ng Department of Agriculture. So, isa-isahin po natin yung mga roles and regulations under nitong mga government agencies. So, under ng Bureau of Animal Industry, for food derived from animals, including eggs and honey production. So, under ng RA number 3639, establish Bureau of Animal Industry has jurisdiction on the importation of both live animals and meat. So, yan sa mga import meat product. So, yan dadaan ng regulation under ng RA 3639. So, yung na-mention natin kanina yung NMIS certification, ayan, DAI certification. So, yan nga, dadaan ng inspection nila and qualification yung mga import meat products na pumapasok sa ating bansa. Siyempre, for the safety ng mga consumer bago pa makarating sa market. So, dadaan ng kanilang inspection. So, prescribed standards for quality in the manufacture, importation, labeling, advertising, distribution, and sale of livestock, poultry and meat products, dairy products, and animal feeds, and veterinary supply. So, hindi lang para doon sa meat products, so even mga animal feeds and veterinary supply. Ayan, so dadaan din ng regulation and compliance under ng RA 3639. So, NDA or National Dairy Authority, so for the milk production naman and mga dairy products or milk product. So, under ng Department of Agriculture, so again, iyan si NMIS. So, nabanggit na natin kanina yan yung NMIS certification para doon sa mga import, meat product, and mga export, mga nilalabas na meat product sa bansa natin. So, syempre, dadaan din ng inspection and regulation under ng NMIS. So, para doon sa mga dagdag natin, mga import products, ayan, so dapat makasecure muna nung tinatawag na veterinary quarantine clearance or VQC, ayan, to ensure yung quality and safety ng mga import meat product natin. So, next, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BFAR, para naman doon sa mga fresh fish and other seafood products natin. So, under ng Presidential Decree 704. So, clarifies the need for importers to obtain quarantine permit, importation of fresh, chilled, frozen fish, and fishery aquatic products for canning, processing purposes, and those undertaken by institutional buyers are exempt from such certification. So, yan yung mga import na seafood product. Ayan, kailangan dumaan din syempre ng regulation and inspection. So, kailangan din nilang mag-obtain ng quarantine permit. Ayan, bago kapasok sa country natin yung mga import seafood product. Ayan, kahit na canned goods yan na mga fish product or mga chilled, frozen, so dadaan ng quarantine or yun nga, kailangan mag-secure ng quarantine permit to ensure yung quality and safety standard ng mga seafood product. So, another one, Bureau of Plant Industry under ng Presidential Decree 1433. So, yan, sa mga plant products naman or plant goods natin. So, fruits and vegetable, yan, yung mga import and export sa country galing ng country natin. So, kailangan din, syempre, dumaan ng inspection and certification under nga nitong BPI. So, under ng Presidential Decree 1433. So, it prevent the introduction of exotic pests into the country to prevent further spreading of existing plant pests and to enforce phytosanitary measures for the export plants, plant products, and regulated articles. So, yun, syempre, yung mga plant products, so yan, ma-ensure nga na dumaan ng compliance or walang any pest na kasama doon sa mga fruits and vegetable products na i-import sa ating country. So, maging yung mga i-export palabas ng country, syempre dadaan din ng inspection nitong BPI. So, for the pesticides and fertilizer naman na ginagamit for plant and mga animal food natin. So, yan, meron tayong Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority. So, government body that regulates nga yung mga fertilizers and pesticide na ginagamit sa ating mga plants and animal products. So, para syempre safe yung mga meat and plant products natin for the consumption. So, yan, dadaan din ng inspection and regulation nga under ng FTA. So, National Food Authority naman or the NFA, so it is agency responsible for rice, mga corn product, and mga grain product natin. So, para ma-manage or yan nga, ma-monitor yan nga yung safety and doon sa supply and distribution nitong mga uh, rice, corn, and grain product natin. So, under ng Department of Health, so yun nga si FDA, the Center for Food Regulation and Research, and Bureau of Quarantine. So, yan. FDA responsible for implementing performance-based for food safety control management system. So, yan nga. Hindi lang sa food, maging sa mga medicine, ayan, medical devices. So, dadaan ng FDA inspection. So, yan, towards the end na pala tayo. So, Bureau of Quarantine provides sanitation and ensure food safety in its area of responsibility in both domestic and international ports and airports of entry, including in-flight catering, food service establishment, sea vessels, and aircraft as provided for the IRR of RA 9271 or Quarantine Act of 2004 and Presidential Decree 856 on the sanitation of the Philippines. So, yan yung mga product. Ayan, for example, food sa aircraft. Ayan, mga sa mga seaport. Ayan, sa mga cruise. So, yan, dadaan ng inspection and regulation nga under nitong Bureau of Quarantine. So, under ng RA 9271 and Presidential Decree 856. So, ensure yung safety and standard nitong mga food in flight and doon nga sa mga cruise. So, legal requirements for starting a food business in the Philippines. So, additional topic lang po ito. So, ano ba yung mga legal requirements na kailangan i-secure ng isang food establishment? Iyan, bago nga, prior doon sa kanilang operation. So, to meet the legal requirements for a food or bakery business in the Philippines, register first with DTI or SEC, then secure local permit. So, syempre, yun nga, register with DTI. Ayan, for pag-corporation sa SEC. So, aside doon, kailangan mag-secure ng barangay clearance, mayor's or business permit, and then yung sanitary permit or certification, kanina na nag-discuss po natin, ayan, na i-issue na ang kanilang LGU, ayan, sanitary permit and health certificate, ayan, from the LGU. And then, syempre, register with the BIR for tax compliance, ayan, para legalize yung ating business. So, and then, ito, hindi naman to nire-require sa lahat ng food establishment, pero especially doon sa mga manufacturing company. So, nire-require sila, aside doon sa mga nabanggit, so nire-require sila ng FDA licensing. So, yun, kailangan mag-undergo ng inspection, ayan, regulation ng Food and Drug Administration pagka mga manufacturing companies. So, pagka food establishment, so hindi naman na ganun kasi FDI, so hindi kailangan na licensing. So, doon lang tayo sa mga na-mention na mga ibang permit and requirements. So, food business in the Philippines is a rewarding venture, especially in a country where sharing meals is a beloved tradition. But before you serve your first loaf of rice bowl, it's essential to meet legal requirements for food businesses in the Philippines. This permits ensure smooth operation and protect your business from fines or delays. So, yan, syempre, doon tayo sa legal. So, kailangan mag-secure nitong mga permit, ayan, and legal requirements bago po mag-operate yung isang food establishment or manufacturing company. So, yan, dapat compliant doon sa mga legal permit and regulations. So, yan, that's the end na pala nung lesson natin. So, for the seat work, nag-seat work na tayo last week. Ang sabi ko po ay yung week 3, so equivalent to 3 and 4 na po yun. So, which is, yun nga, na-upload na natin sa Schoology, yung nilagyan kong score ng seat work natin last week. Ayan, skip na natin yung seat work. So, sa quiz, Magbababa po ako ng summative quiz. So, ayan, dahil nga na-adjust naman yung ating prelim exam. So, probably this week, magbababa ako ng summative quiz, cover ng week 1 to 4 para serve as reviewer nyo na rin po ng prelim exam. Pero it doesn't mean na exactly yun yung tanong ha. So, reviewer lang po ito. So, hindi ibig sabihin na same question doon sa exam natin. Serve as reviewer na lang din. So, syempre, bago sagutan po yung quiz, review naman tayo para prepared po tayo. Ayun, ready rin sa exam. So, assignment, alam ko nababa ko naman na sa Schoology po, yung week 1 to 4 natin na assignment. So, skip na natin po itong assignment. So, meron na yan sa Schoology and RG. Again, sa reflective journal po, every week na topic, may reflective journal. So ngayon, dahil nakapag-discuss na po tayo hanggang week 4, so ipapublish ko na sa Schoology yung reflective journal. So sa RG, yung week 2, 3, 4 natin na topic, so kailangan meron pong intended na reflective journal and then isang file submission lang doon sa ipapublish ko na RJ week 2, 3, 4. So again, extend ko na lang din yung deadline para nga doon sa mga may problem sa internet ngayon and yun nga, may issue yung kanilang Schoology. So sana pag-resume po ng regular class, pakiasikaso na yung mga Schoology natin kasi marami na po tayong activity. So hindi lang naman sa subject natin, even though sa ibang subjects ninyo, syempre, may ipunan na kayo ng activity. So, yan. Paki-asikaso na yung mga Schoology, nung mga hindi ma-access na nagsasabi sa akin. So, once nag-resume yung face-to-face, pwede po kayong pumunta kay Ma'am Dain nga para matulungan kayong maayos yung inyong Schoology accounts. And then, ayan, references for this week for lesson. So, yan, mga book sa library na pwede nyong i-check. So, nandun naman sa library ang book reference natin and other additional websites, ayan, na ginamit po dito sa ating week 4 lesson. So, SDG alignment for week 4 lesson. So, this lesson is aligned with the SDG number 3, good health and well-being, SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, and SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. So, yan. That's the end po ng ating week 4 na lesson. So, yan lang. End ko muna yung ating